dive in aquatic mind. Once was a cold pit, but now it's a water ride. Makes you wanna sit back, enjoy the life, and do things you like doing, get to shine. It's sure beats fighting with the foes all the time, but I gotta do it, they always stay out of line. Sometimes I wanna just chill and land, but I'm the protector of the emeralds and gems. I stay knuckled up, I'm in a deep cut. I'm seeing skulls that burn, they tryna cut me off. Avoiding my luck, I'm feeling kinda stuck. I'm in narrow hallways, running like it's a ball game. Hand tracks be tracking me to different doorways. In a maze, and I don't know what to do. Guaranteed though, I'ma find the emeralds. Don't call me Knuckles for nothing, I can't lose. Sure beats fighting with them foes all the time, but I gotta do it, they always stay out of line. Sometimes I wanna just chill and land, but I'm the protector of the emeralds and gems. Stay knuckled up in a deep cut. I'm seeing skulls that burn, they tryna throw me off. Avoiding my luck, I'm feeling kinda stuck. Don't call me Knuckles, give me a box.
Good evening, boys, girls, and MBs of all shapes, sizes, colors, and orientations. Welcome to the one and only Alec Gunter stream. My name is Alec Gunter. Welcome in. I am pretty tired, actually, but I decided on a whim. I'm just gonna go live. Fuck it, we do it live. I didn't shower before this, so I'm rocking a little Asmongold right now, you know? No, I'm not that bad. What's the tally? I vote in favor of abolishing ICE. We'll see. I have been keeping some folks waiting on the Discord server. If you would like to debate me in the marketplace of ideas, you can join the Platinum Politics Discord server and by pressing !debate. Whatever chat you're in, it should work. If it doesn't work, then let me know. We'll figure it out. All right. Cut the music. How should I do this? Because now this isn't gonna, like... You know what? That's fine. It doesn't fit perfectly, but it'll be fine. And then I gotta go to, here, give me just a second. I gotta go to my settings here. Boy, resetting a computer, you know, it really makes you realize how much personalization you had set up. And it's better now than it used to be, honestly. Like, it used to be you had to reset everything, but now you got, like, the cloud and shit. Anyway, I need to change my video camera to Logic Capture. That is one thing that I need to open. Logic Capture. Not open League of Legends. It showed me League of Legends when I typed in Logic Capture. And I would love to open League of Legends and play it. But I can't. So there's that. Okay, cool. Alrighty. We're doing it. We're doing it live. Welcome in, everybody. I believe that I saw... What's your name? C ... Oh, you literally are just C ... Okay. That fucked with me. I'm too tired for that shit. I am very tired today, but I decided on a whim, I am just going to go ahead and go live on YouTube and Twitch. So just keep in mind, if you come up, You are live in front of an audience, okay? It's not a big one, okay? But sizes and everything. It's big enough. It's bigger than yours. So just remember that. Okay, so I believe I saw C dot dot dot's hand up. That's not actually your name, is it? I think it is. Okay, well. Were you who was the first one with their hand up? Just be honest. Oh yeah, I gotta keep chat open too, I forgot. It won't let me join your server. I don't know why. I've never joined before, so I thought I'm banned. Huh. Okay, hold on. Let me just do a thing real quick. Let me move this over here. Bear with me, folks. Let me get a link to just copy paste into the chat. I figured this might be a problem, no biggie. Okay. Paste. Of my dashboard. I did not have Stream Manager open for Twitch. Okay, paste, and then paste. I think I announced in my server. Nobody said anything on my site yet. You should go over to site chat. It's pretty cool. Okay. Chainsaw Chimera had his hand up first. Very well then. I don't know why it's giving me C dot dot dot. Like, even when I open it, it's not. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. It's happening. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Before we get started, sorry, 1 second. The format of this is literally just going to be you're going to come up. I'm not going to give you any specific period of time. I will try to keep it reasonable so that everybody who wants to speak can. I don't know how long I'll be going. I am tired, as I said, but I wanted to talk about this anyway. So that's what we're doing. So, any questions? If you have any questions, leave them in the chat.
Yeah, just to throw it out there, I only pressed the hand button because I thought it was like a wave symbol. I didn't know that was like calling to come up to argue. So my apologies for that.
Oh. No, you're fine. Are you good then? Can I let you go?
Sure. Yeah, okay.
Okay, no worries. Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me just a second because I got to turn the volume down a lot. Speaker volume. Let's go 6, 7. I had a 4-year-old say that to me the other day. Proudly. 6, 7. Okay, who wants to? Who had their hand up next? Was it HK or Director Corbin? It could have been Belle Delphine, but I don't think it was Belle Delphine. Okay, it was HK. Okay, we will invite up HK. Yes, and you are coming up to argue this. If you want to come up and say something else, I can't stop you from doing that. But you know, I'm looking for heated debate, blood sports. I got the taste of blood in my mouth. HK, you coming up? I'm giving you 20 seconds. HK, Bell, and then Corbin. Okay, so Bell's next. HK's fence sitter, kind of boring. I think the bench sitters are some of the most entertaining because of how fucking frustrating they are. How do I like make his hand go down? Can I do that? Or no, it's just invite to speak. I can't uninvite. I can't uninvite. Okay, well, if he comes up, I'll just kick him out. Okay, Belle Delphine. I can't believe the Belle Delphine. Oh, Belle Delphine Defender. Okay, I only saw Belle Delphine.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
I thought you were gonna like sell me your bathwater.
Right. Yeah, so I don't think I should be abolished because I believe that the taxpayer has a collective property right over government property, and thus has a right to enforce their claim using ICE to protect themselves from the forced integration that is currently being enforced by the state
Forced
against illegal
integration.
immigrants.
What do you mean?
Yeah, through things like welfare and civil rights.
Welfare and civil rights are causing forced integration, which is bad.
Yes.
Am I hearing that? Okay, why is that bad?
Because we're forcing peaceful private individuals to integrate with people against their will. It's a systematic violation of their property rights.
Other peaceful private individuals. Yes.
But they're not peaceful.
Like, what do you mean they're not peaceful?
Right, because the state is forcing them to associate with
am
them.
I... Sorry,
like civil rights.
Is my microphone cutting out? It looks like it might be.
It's not. I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. What do you mean not peaceful, though?
Peaceful?
That's
I'm
what you
saying
said,
specifically that the state is... No, what I am actually saying here is that immigrants, for example, here, illegal immigrants are going to be accepting welfare, for example, which is going to be robbing from the taxpayers here. That's one part. And then there's a second part, which is going to be the civil rights agenda, meaning that the currently in America, private peaceful... Yeah, the current private individuals do not actually have the right to freely associate away from illegal immigrants.
So, like, what do you mean? Okay, they don't have the right to freely associate away from illegal immigrants. You can just tell them
that they're forced to integrate with them.
Okay, but like what? Like, if people want to move there into the same neighborhood, like what's stopping them? Why not?
Because specifically, when you're in a neighborhood, right, and I don't want you in my neighborhood, right, and I say, well, I don't really want to associate with you.
It's not okay. It's okay. So
I'm not saying that I own my neighborhood. I'm saying that in the case of a business, for example, I am not allowed to not associate with these people. That would be a case of forced integration.
Okay, I don't disagree with that though. Like, I think that you shouldn't be allowed to discriminate based on that kind of status. Like, why would I think that it's a good thing to do that?
What gains the immigrant a property right over the use of a business owner's property?
A property? Nobody's talking about a property right. Just
no, you're making a normative claim about who should control a scarce good. That's a property right.
A scarce good? What's that scarce good?
Business.
Business?
Yeah, I'm saying specifically that the business owner is saying, I don't want to associate with this immigrant, right? And you're saying that he should be forced to associate with him.
Business is not a good. It's like a concept.
It doesn't matter. Like any controllable thing. The job itself. Okay. Not important.
I just don't see the problem with like different groups of people melding together. What's the problem?
I have a problem
if it happens naturally. Okay, who's forcing who? What's the force here?
The state is forcing by law. Yeah, the state is forcing the private business owner to associate with the immigrant.
If the immigrant wants to associate with their business, and that business
and the business doesn't want to associate with them.
If the business operates on the United States soil, guess what, motherfucker? The United States owns that land, and they can take it away at any point. Okay.
Okay. Well,
if the business owner decides he's going to use this, just hold on. If the business owner decides he's going to use this piece of land to murder people and bury their corpses there, then yes, the government can say, no, you don't get to use our land like that. Give it back. Right?
Okay, cool. So if the government owns the land, why can't they just exclude all immigrants?
Because if it's against the United States rules, I mean, the democracy has decided on integration and civil rights.
Is ICE itself against... Wait, hold on. No, you specifically just made the argument that civil rights are justified because the state owns the business here. If the state has a legitimate property claim, then it also has a legitimate property claim over the border and thus can exclude immigrants.
I mean, democratically, yes, that's how that works. If the democracy decides we're going to exclude immigrants, yeah, there's no other way to do it. You're correct on that. So all I can do, like what we're doing now, is try to convince people that that's wrong and that immigrants should be allowed in.
Yeah, but you specifically made a normative claim, right, against my argument against the Civil Rights Act, saying that that's a bad thing, right? So if it was not,
Okay.
you have to actually argue why it's a legitimate thing.
Why I think that it's a good thing because otherwise you get segregation. You get civil rights violations like what we had during Jim Crow and separate but equal. We've already been through this. What do you mean? We've already seen this.
Wait, hold on. Why would the negation of forced integration imply forced segregation?
Because the people forcing it are the business owners.
No, it's the state forcing it under Jim Crow, right?
If the business owner gets to decide no coloreds here, they're forcing segregation. I don't know how else to describe it.
The state under Jim Crow, it was the state was forcing segregation back then. This is freedom of association. Jim Crow was state enforced, definitionally.
But okay. Let's say Amazon decided no coloreds can use our business. No coloreds get to use Amazon. Huh?
They would get outcompeted immediately.
Okay, but Amazon owns everything right now.
Yeah, and they wouldn't because competition would arise. And they would lose.
Competition? Who's competing with Amazon, my good sir? Please. I'd love to hear about this scrappy upstart.
Why would they ever start segregating? They would lose so much profit.
I'm just saying they have the power to. They shouldn't shouldn't have the power to, is what I'm saying. They shouldn't be allowed.
Power to, right? But
they shouldn't be allowed.
First of all, there's so many people competing with Walmart, like Shein, Temu, eBay, etc.
Here's how it works.
Second of all,
here's how it works. The United States, is land owned and operated by the U.S. government, which at least on paper is democratically elected in, right?
Yeah.
That means that it's my land, it's your land, right? This land is my land, this land is your land. You know, California, got the song? Okay. What that means is, as a big group, we get to decide on the rules. And you know what I say? Force that shit. Force the integration. Fine. I don't care.
Yeah, and I say
just make sure there's no segregation. And most people said that, and that's why we have the Civil Rights Act. Okay?
Okay, so can you actually principally object to immigration if forced exclude immigrants, right? Can you actually object to ICE then?
I don't need to. You're trying to tell me that different groups of people meshing together for some reason is wrong or bad or should be like discouraged or you should be allowed to not do it. Like, what are you talking about? That's just what happens. People integrate over time naturally.
Yeah, all you did was making a descriptive claim. You made a procedural claim about democracy, right? I'm saying that does not actually make for a normative claim. If that were to actually justify your position, right, then it would also be the claim that ICE would be justified because they were. That would also be a procedural claim. It would be justified because of democracy, right?
I'm not saying democracy. Hold on. I'm not saying democracy justifies anything. Okay, what I'm saying is that if a democracy decides something, there's not much the minority can do about it minus force, right?
Cool. I mean, that's purely descriptive, right? I can say the same thing about ICE.
So what I'm saying is, okay, if the integration is happening and most people are either okay with that or want that, then that's what's happening, period. And we decided that with the Civil Rights Act.
These are purely descriptive claims. These are purely descriptive claims, right? I'm saying that doesn't justify anything.
Okay, so you want to know why? Okay, you want to know why I think integration is good? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm not. I'm asking you, how can you actually go against ICE on this claim?
Because what do you mean go against ICE on this claim? What do you mean?
How can you actually argue against ICE if you're using democracy to justify claims?
I'm not using democracy to justify it. I'm trying to explain the process to you.
Yes, these are purely descriptive claims. Works. I know most.
Huh?
Yeah, and I know most. Yeah, and I know most people here do not want freedom of association. I'm fully aware of that, right? I'm saying that most people here, by that logic, also don't want a bunch of illegal immigrants flooding in the country.
What do you mean freedom of association? What does that mean to you? Like on an individual level, when I have freedom of association, Alec Gunter, what does that mean for Alec Gunter?
That I'm not forced to associate with anyone against my will.
I'm already not forced to against my will. What do you mean?
The right to discriminate.
The right to discriminate? Like discriminate in terms of what? Like I can
Any reason. I don't want you on my property for any reason. Therefore, I can kick you out or not associate with you. That's what
I
freedom
can
of
kick
association is.
I can kick somebody out of my house for any reason that I want. Sure. I
What about
believe in the
business?
right to maintain that. Okay?
What about business?
Yeah, a business is not a house, man. They're
What's
not
the
the same
difference?
thing. What do you mean what's
Okay, so if you own your house, okay,
you don't sleep and live and watch TV with scratching your ass in your underwear at a business. Typically,
so
you
your
do that
theory
at
of
home.
property is that. So your theory of property is
Unless
that
you're an
you
ICE
own it.
agent, then
if
maybe
you
you do. But besides that,
wait, does that grant them a property right then?
what the ICE agents?
No, I'm saying that you specifically said that it has a property right because they're sitting in their home and scratching their ass.
It's their personal property.
Yeah, what's the difference between a
they
business
don't,
and their own personal property? What's the principal difference? Is it
because a
scratching the ass thing?
business is profiting off of the land that the United States owns. That
Cool.
person is a United States citizen, and they have certain
Mhm.
rights granted to them by our government. And those rights
Mhm.
include the ability to kick anybody out of your house for any reason at any time, whatever. You can do that. You can
Mhm.
just tell somebody
Yeah.
to leave, and as soon as they don't, they're trespassing, and you can call the police. You can do that.
Yeah, so I can say the same thing about borders. We're using our borders, and we have a right to exclude the immigrants.
What do you mean a right to exclude them? What do you mean?
Yeah, it means that I believe the taxpayers have a property right in the borders, and thus have a right to exclude the immigrants, saying I don't want them here, so I
Based
can
on
use ICE
what,
as a
though?
means to
Like,
exclude
I
them.
want to know why I'm part of the taxpayers, so I want to know
Yeah.
why we're excluding them. Why?
You're one individual
Convince me.
taxpayer here. What?
Yes,
I'm
convince
going to use
me.
democracy then,
Yes,
right?
and I'm one tiny droplet in this giant puddle we call a country. Okay, but I'm
Yeah.
still a droplet nonetheless, and it would be less without me. So my voice matters.
Yeah, I'm going to use.
So my
Yeah, I'm
question
going to use
is,
democracy for it, right?
okay.
I'm
So
saying
my
the majority. Yeah.
so convince me then.
Okay.
Convince me.
Yeah, the majority
start
of
with me. Go.
taxpayers. Yeah, I'm not convincing
keep
you.
them
There's
out?
no reason to convince you.
What do you mean? There's no
I
reason to
don't
convince
have.
me. Why not? I want to convince you.
No, I'm making a claim for why excluding immigrants is justified, right? Why am I trying to convince you?
Because
Does that
I'm the
mean
one you're
anything?
talking to. What do you mean?
No, I'm saying that all my goal is here is to justify ICE, right? Immigration restrictions, right?
Yeah,
I am
and
saying
what's
I'm doing
ICE's job? Well, first of all, their
yeah,
job isn't
my
really even border restriction. They're not doing that. They're literally just storming cities and then dragging people out of their homes and
yeah,
killing
sure,
them
I can agree that
sometimes.
some actions by ICE are unjust currently, but your proposition is I should be abolished, right? That's
Yes.
separate from saying that it should
Tell me
be
something good they've
reformed.
done. Tell me something good that they've done. Go ahead. Convince me.
I think excluding the majority of the immigrants have been good.
Excluding the majority of so you think a majority of the
Excluding them.
immigrants should have what's happening to them now should be happening to them. That's a good thing.
A lot of them, yeah.
A lot of them, you said a majority, so we can just assume.
Okay, sure, majority. It doesn't really matter,
Okay,
right?
so
But
so you're trying to convince me that this is more good than bad, right?
yeah,
Because if you
well,
can
I'm
get
basing this off of
so
property
so if you can
rights.
get so starting with if you can get 99 murderers out of the country, even if you get
Mhm.
one innocent guy, you might want to do that, right? That's the logic you're using.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
No,
so what
that's
you're
wait,
trying
hold
to
on. Can I actually get to my point, right? Because when I'm actually
Okay.
trying to justify immigration restrictions here, my argument was specifically democracy, actually. I'm trying to justify it by saying because the majority of taxpayers, I'm saying because the state currently robs from people, right, through taxation, right? The majority of taxpayers have a collective property right over public property. And thus, since we know the majority of taxpayers do not want to abolish ICE and want some immigration restrictions, they have a right to exclude immigrants and use
I
ICE as a
get
means
how
to exclude them.
democracy works. There's nothing I can do to stop it if the majority of people wants to exclude them. I understand
Yeah,
that.
but I'm
What
making a
trying to
normative claim.
do, what I'm trying to
I'm saying they have a
do,
right to do it. Mhm.
I don't. What does that mean when you say they have a right to do it? What do you mean?
Yeah, they have a property right. That's a
What do you
normative
mean?
claim.
What is a right? What do you think a right is?
It's inherent. It's property rights are inherent. They're objective. Yeah.
Okay, a lot of things are inherent.
Yeah,
What's
property rights
what's
are
a right?
inherent. They would have a a right is a property right, and a property right is the right to
A
exclude
right
someone from
is a
something.
property right. Then why are you saying?
Yeah.
If they're the same thing, then what are you talking about? A right is a property right.
Yeah, I'm saying a property right is the right to exclude something from something.
I asked
And
you
I'm
what a right
saying
is.
yeah, a right is a right to exclude someone.
That I no what okay, when I say a right, right? Like when I say
Yeah,
I believe in the right to health care, okay?
yeah.
What I mean when I say the word right in that context
Hmm.
is that health care should be readily accessible to anybody who needs it at any time.
Yeah, you're saying they should have
Period.
it, right? So when I'm saying
well,
that they,
and
you're saying
that
they have a
should be
property right over
upheld by
healthcare.
our government structures. Okay, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
or whatever societal structures we have in place. Okay, that's what I mean when
Okay, and
I
I
say
feel
right.
like I can use the same definition, right? When it comes to borders.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Something.
you think that
Yeah.
some kind of structure, some kind of societal government structure in place
Hmm.
should uphold the right for people to discriminate based on whatever they want for business.
Yeah, sure. That's not my
I
case for
just
immigration restrictions. I'm against the Civil Rights Act, but that's not purely my case against immigration.
okay. Why should we not abolish ICE? Like what?
Right?
Like
Because I'm saying that the taxpayers have a right to exclude them. I'm saying that that should be upheld because they have been robbed
okay,
from the state.
even
So
if
therefore,
that's true, ICE has killed 2 American citizens like just recently, and the Trump administration has said nothing about it. They're pretty much endorsing
right,
that. Okay?
cool.
So
So
if that's what they're doing, killing US citizens, like we all saw what happened, man. Twice.
it,
That we know of.
is the proposition you gave is I should be abolished or I should be reformed?
Abolished. Gone. I see
Right.
no
So I
reason to
can.
keep them.
Yeah, I know. Right. So my point is that I agree that a lot of the actions currently they're doing is totally unjust. And they should 100% be reformed. However, I don't think it should be abolished, which is that's what your proposition is. So appealing to what they're currently doing is meaningless.
You haven't convinced me anything they're doing is good. I don't know
I am
why we should
saying
keep people out. Why?
why? Because they have
Yeah,
a
why?
right to keep them out. Because
No.
they have been forcefully. No, I'm saying, yeah, I'm going to give you the argument, right? When you are robbed from, I'm saying that you have some entitlement to that money that have been robbed from you. And I'm saying you can at least say that I don't want the immigrants on the property I've been forcefully robbed from through
Okay.
taxes, right?
I understand how representation with taxation works. I got that
Yeah.
part, okay? What I'm asking you is, as a tax-paying citizen, I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm moving to the
Yeah.
next caller, all right?
Mhm.
As a tax-paying citizen,
Mhm.
why should we have ICE? My taxes pay for that, so why should I want that?
The whole
Convince
point
me.
is that because my justification is not based on you as an individual, right? I'm saying the majority of taxpayers don't want it. Therefore, it shouldn't happen. That's all the justification I need.
Why do you want ICE, personally?
Why do I want ICE? Because I'm not a
Yes.
fan of forced integration done by civil rights, and I think they're net tax.
Oh yeah, we were on
net
forced
tax negative,
integration.
right?
Do you feel like you're being forced to integrate with anybody? Is that what you feel in your heart?
They currently no, but they are forcing people
You
to integrate.
currently know. So then what's the problem?
No, because it's a systematic
Who's
violation
being
of
forced?
property
Who's
rights.
being forced? Who?
Business owners who don't want to associate with them.
I don't care. You haven't convinced
Well,
me.
yeah, but you asked me
you're-
why. I don't care if you don't care.
Okay, force them to integrate then. I don't
Are you
care that
currently
much.
being deported? Are you currently being deported?
No, but being deported
Why
is
do you
a
care, then?
shitty thing to happen, and I just am not convinced
Cool.
that this forced integration thing is all that big of a deal. You haven't convinced me, man. All right, wrap
You know
up.
how, okay, sure.
Wrap up.
Yeah, do you know how much they're taking in taxpayer dollars, right? Welfare?
Trillions, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're taking a shit ton in welfare, right? I think
I'm
that's
sure they
bad.
are. I'm sure
Yeah, I'm saying
they're
that
making out like
it's a
bandits,
violation.
living like kings.
It's a
I'm
violation
sure.
of the taxpayers' property rights when the immigrants come in and take welfare.
Okay.
Generally, these people don't want them stealing their money, but they're coming in and the state is enforcing it.
All right. Thanks for coming up, man. That was fun. All right. Who's next? Was it Corbin? It was Corbin, right? Well, actually, who's this again? Why does it not show the full name? That's so stupid. The C person. No, HK. No, HK. Are you here? Is HK here? Okay, I'm going to assume that HK is not here right now. HK is AFK. I'm going to read chat real quick before we move on. Ask him what his heritage is? Why? Like, where's the proof of set amount missing? I don't know. Like, all I've seen is, like, undocumented migrants, like, make up the fucking majority of our farming force by some estimates. Like, if you could Thanos snap them back to Mexico or whatever, like, that would be detrimental to our health as a nation. Euroids don't get to talk about American racism, just learn the first thing about Jim Crow. Jazz Dog, hello. Welcome. Okay. Let's move on. Director Corbin, you're up. Director Corbin, welcome in.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Am I coming
Hello,
through okay?
can you... Sorry, what?
Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, I can't see your face. It's just black, but I can hear you just fine.
It is showing up fine on my end. I haven't heard anybody complain yet in the chat. Does anybody else just see a black screen instead of my face in the Discord? It's getting through to my audience fine. We'll wait for people on that, but as long as you can hear me, I think that's what's most important, right? Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm all fine with that. Can you just state why you believe ICE should be demolished first? I think that would be a good way to start this.
Why it should be abolished? I've only seen them do bad things. I've only seen them like to suck up taxpayer dollars to like execute people and drag them off in black bags and throw them in cages and like I've only seen bad things from them. So like that's why I haven't seen the good yet.
What have they done that's necessarily considered bad to you?
Well, I mean, as I just got done explaining, executing people in broad daylight as one. You know, grabbing people off the streets and throwing them in a cage for nothing. For nothing.
Okay. Wait, sorry. You said for nothing.
For nothing.
They did that for nothing? They did that for nothing?
Yes. As far as I know, I haven't heard any different.
Well, you're probably tuning into the stations that only show what they've done rather than who they're doing it to. But from my understanding, they bring people out of the country that are illegal. Is that not what they do?
In theory, I guess, but even then, like, even if they were doing their jobs perfectly, I just don't think that it's that worthy of a cause. I don't understand why I should support this.
You think that anyone should just be able to illegally enter this country?
If you're able to, that doesn't make it illegal, does it? Like when we say able to, we're meaning like.
If I'm able to put sorry, I interrupted you, but if I'm
No,
able
you're
to put
fine. Please.
if I'm able to put a package of gum in my pocket at the grocery store and walk outside, I was able to. Therefore, it's not illegal. Is that correct?
No. But like, okay, so you're asking me, okay. So like if you asked me like should anybody be able to just walk out of a grocery store with gum in their pocket, right? There are two ways I can answer that. One, I don't think it should be allowed. And two, I don't think there should be so many regulatory security measures put in place such that it would be completely impossible. Like, I don't want there to be like a laser sight aimed on a toddler for trying to stick a piece of candy in their pocket. No, I don't want that. So in terms of like that, I think that yes, you should be able to just walk out of a store with gum in your pocket. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so. You just don't want it to be so, structured. It's like there's 15 different lasers and there's pressure point things. There's guns aimed at your head because you just for a package of gum. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Well, I'm saying like I don't. When I say should you be able to, what I assume you mean is should it be legal? That's what I'm saying. And my answer to that is no. I think that should be discouraged. I don't like stealing. I don't like theft.
So, how does that logic not apply to coming to the country?
Because you're asking me, should they be allowed? Should the people who are here illegally right now be granted legal status? And in most cases, I would say yes. Most of them are just here because they overstayed a visa. Like we've already got documentation on them. All we have to do is update it. Just update it, and then we're good, right? What's the problem? Like why? Like these are the people they're going after. Is like fucking expired visas.
They're going after the illegal immigrants. That's literally the message system for ICE. Is anyone that is here legally will be removed.
How do they know? How do they know where to find them? Guess who's easiest? Just take a guess. Who's easiest to find if you're here illegally? Take a guess.
Well, actually, in your defense, I would imagine the easiest people to capture, illegal or not illegal, would be the ones that have a job.
No. To find, and I'm not saying who have a job and work, which that might make it easier because they leave a paper trail. Okay, but what I'm saying is the people who are already here legally and have full documentation on them, name, address, phone number, all that goody good stuff, right? And then the day their visa expires, guess what? They're an illegal now. We can go and storm their house and drag them to a cage.
Yeah. They're here illegally. Yeah, I guess so.
But like,
why?
That's so ridiculous. Like, but what's the point of that?
So shouldn't your argument be to fix the visa problem rather than abolish ICE? Because ICE is here to remove illegal immigrants, but your claim is that the illegal immigrants aren't all bad. There's just mess ups and hiccups in the system that make them illegal. Therefore, shouldn't we be fixing the system rather than abolishing ICE?
Their legal/illegal status is like entirely arbitrarily based on the law. Okay, we could blanket is not immunize. What's the word? Naturalize. We could blanket naturalize all of these people if we wanted to. We could just do that. And why not? They're here. They live here. They're making money. They're tax paying. Why not?
I'm not even familiar with the word naturalize. What are you suggesting here? Sorry.
Make them citizens for all I care. I don't care. Make them citizens. They live here. Just make it it's the path to citizenship super easy.
Yeah, the path to citizenship should be easy, but if you are doing illegal activity or things that do not fit in the country of America, you shouldn't be allowed in. Do you agree? Like, for example, if you, rape people, or if you do this or you do that or whatever, that stuff is against the moral standard of America. Therefore, you are not allowed in. Does that make sense?
I mean, if you are currently like serving a sentence in your country, no, I don't think you should necessarily be allowed in. But if you've done your
Well,
time
no.
and you're a free man, then I see no reason why you should like just now. If we do a background check, right? And okay, let's say that this person's like a pedophile, right? If we do a background check on this person and find out they served like 20 years for owning CSAM, right? And then could we make a decision based off of that to just not let them in? Sure. And I wouldn't be completely opposed to that. But we do also have people who have engaged in CSAM material who are freely walking the streets after serving their sentence, living here in the United States. We don't kick them out of the country. We don't excommunicate them. So, like, I just don't know if you've served your time and you haven't engaged in it after serving your time, if blocking off access to an entire country for the rest of your life is necessary. I just don't think it's necessary.
Okay, yeah, I understand that argument. That's why you allowed them to come here legally, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to know that they
Right.
did that. I want that on their record. But we already have a bunch of those people living here, and they, many of them have reformed, and they're living very healthy lives and contributing.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. I hope they're here legally. Otherwise, they should leave. Because most of the time, if you're doing, or for the most part, if you're doing something, if you have to come here illegally, you can't come here legally. There's got to be a reason.
If you come here illegally, there's got to be a reason.
Yeah, well, if you could have come here legally, if you
Okay.
could have come here legally, like
Let's
if you
talk
have
about
done a
that.
crime or you're a pedophile or something, then that's a reason why you can't come here legally. Therefore, the only other option is to come here illegally.
Let's talk about that. The immigration process in this country, okay, is very time consuming. It's not great. Okay, it's underfunded, it's understaffed, and there's too much paperwork and shit. Like, it's just too much. And so people are on these wait lists for years, and like, that's hard. And sometimes your circumstances are dire enough that you've got to get across that border. You have to. That's why people drag their children across the river. You ever thought about that? What would it take to drag your child across the fucking Rio Grande? What would it take? Think about that.
Sorry, can you repeat the last question? There's someone in my room was talking to you. I'm so sorry.
What would it take to drag your child across the Rio Grande? What kind of circumstances would drive you to do such a thing? Not knowing what's waiting for you on the other side.
Well, yeah, America is undoubtedly way better than these other countries. Way more civilized, way more put together. Anyone born in such an unfortunate land is, of course, going to drag their kid across the far land, bring them here.
And you would too, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Because America is so much better.
You sure would.
Okay, but why can't I do that then?
Why can't you do what?
Why can't I drag my kid across and come into America? Why can't I do that?
Why can't you do you mean you, like Director Corbin personally? Why can't you? I mean, I guess you could move to Mexico and try, but...
Right, but why is only Mexicans allowed in? I'm from Canada. I can't just hop the border, go into America. I can't.
We don't have, and as far as I know, there's not an immigration crisis coming from Canada. Like, they're typically like pretty well off there. It's pretty casual travel between the border. The circumstances are entirely different. Like, south of us is like, there's just chaos in many areas, and so people come up, and like, that's where they usually come to. I mean, I guess you could circle around and go to the north.
But... Right, no, but what I'm saying, I'm just saying, they only are allowing people to illegally come from the countries where there are the most people that commit the most heinous and uncivilized crimes. Therefore, if there's no systems, there's nothing stopping someone from simply walking across, then there's no country. And there's no culture, and there's nothing maintaining it, because the people here, next door neighbor, some child rapist for all I know. And I'm not judging him because he's brown, but how do I know that he is not? How do I know he's a civilized citizen that came here and did civilized?
How do you know anybody
work?
is? If you go to any location at all, you have no idea who those people are, any one of them could hurt you. I'm just saying. And for the record, the least likely place to get hurt generally is like a well-integrated, well-socialized area.
Right, but if there is no structure in order for people to come into the country, then the most evil, worst people can come into this country and commit the most heinous crimes because there's no system preventing them from coming. So do you agree that there should be at least a system in order for people to come into America?
Give me an example of somebody trying to get in that you're concerned about, that we need regulations for so that they don't cross over. Go on. Go. Just for instance. Make a character.
A rapist.
A rapist. Okay, so this person is a known rapist.
No, unknown.
Unknown rapist. How do we know they're a rapist then? Did we see it?
Or they have a history of being a rapist in the past. Yeah, like far in the past.
So they have
not like actively. Yeah.
So they have raped in the past. Have they done their time?
No, not in that country.
Not in that country. Okay, fine.
Because the country's not put together with the same ways of America. It's not as, I don't know the right wording, but I guess civilized maybe. It's not as structural.
Fine.
You don't get punished.
If you want to put in regulations such that if you have that on your record and you haven't served time, and basically what you're describing is an outlaw, like they ran from the law, you've seen their wanted poster basically. Like they're a wanted criminal. Like, of course you're not going to let that. You'd basically be harboring a criminal at that point. No, they don't get in.
Okay, but they can, because they can come here illegally.
Okay, but what I'm telling you is that if you're asking me what I believe should be there should be some kind of regulatory body to keep them from crossing that border in that instance. I think that's fine. You want to check them real quick? Just make sure they're not on a wanted poster or something. Fine.
Okay, but they don't have that, first of all, or they don't have very good enough systems because people are coming here illegally. Therefore, if there are illegal people here, child rapists, all of that, they have to be removed in order to maintain like what's special about America. But then, yes, I understand what you're saying when you say that, not all of them are terrible because the systems aren't good enough for them to even come over. But shouldn't your argument then be to, instead of abolish ICE, rather create better systems?
What does ICE do for us?
They remove the rapists.
I haven't heard of any rapists that have been removed. I'm sure there are one or two, but I just haven't seen like this
there's obviously
crazy avalanche of Mexican rapists that we've shipped back on a tiny truck, hilariously, like cartoon style. Like they're like flowing out of the truck as it drives by. I haven't seen that.
Well, obviously they're not going to be all publicized about it because the media doesn't want you to be pro.
You don't think that ICE would come out and be like, look at this dangerous motherfucker that we shipped out of the country. Look at this guy.
Yeah, they do.
They do it with they do it on traffic charges. This guy was speeding at 90 miles an hour down the highway, which granted is very fast, but I don't think you should be kicked out of the country for it.
He's not being kicked out of the country because he was speeding. He's being kicked out of the country because he was pulled over for speeding and they found out that he was illegal. The thing is, when they are
what
illegal,
else
we
is
don't
he?
know.
Okay, convince me. Okay, he's living here, right? We assume he's living here. He just didn't go through the legal processes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so convince me that it's worth kicking him out Why?
Because then the environment is safer for my children when I have children.
For a guy speeding 90 miles an hour, you're going to kick him out of the country? I've sped at 90 miles an hour. You
No.
want me out? I just got a
No,
speeding
no,
ticket
not
for that.
not for speeding, for being an illegal immigrant.
Being illegal in and of itself, illegal, that's just a social construct that we made up. Okay? Give me a substantive reason. Like I said, if they're a wanted criminal, no, I don't want them here. But at the same time, there are wanted criminals in our borders. And I would say put them in jail, not like deport them. But I can understand why you turn a wanted criminal from another country back to that country so that they can punish them accordingly. I understand why you would do that. So that's why I say, sure, you want to set up a system where we just make sure that no wanted criminals come in, fine, we can do that. But otherwise, I just don't understand the problem. Like, why take people whose visas have expired and kick them out? Just because they're illegal?
Because otherwise, well,
I haven't updated my tags yet on my car. Technically, I'm driving illegally. Should I be kicked out? I'm illegal when I drive.
Okay, but what do you do if there's just like a group of 10 immigrants, illegal immigrants, half of them could be rapists. We don't know. All we know is they're all illegal. So now what?
All we know is they're... Say that one more time. Sorry.
If there's a room with 10 illegal immigrants in there, all we know is that they're illegal. How do we deal with getting rid of the illegal rapists or crime breakers, whatever you want to call them? How do we go about getting rid of them without going about getting rid of the people who actually are good citizens yet just came here legally?
If somebody's committed a crime, right, there's an investigation that takes place, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So if this person has committed a crime somewhere, somebody is probably investigating that unless the investigation was closed, in which case he got away with it and we wouldn't know that he's a criminal, right? There's no way of knowing. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so assuming that we have that paper trail and can find out this person's a criminal, just like we could do with any citizen, mind you, okay? Like, if that's what we were doing, then I would understand it better, okay? Like, especially if it's some kind of heinous crime like murder or rape, okay? Then I would get it. I wouldn't put up as much of a fuss. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is ICE is going basically door to door, harassing people, dragging them out of their homes, and sometimes killing them, throwing them in cages. Just regular, well-to-do people. Killed a 37-year-old ICU nurse, a guy tasked with saving lives when people are in the worst condition of their lives, gone. Gone in an instant on the whims of some fucking pig. Disgusting. Why keep them? Why?
We should keep ICE to remove the illegals, but we should come up with a better system for people to come here legally easier. Does that support your argument then or no?
You just haven't convinced me that ICE has done a lick of good.
Well, I believe that they have taken out a lot of illegal immigrants. Actually, I would just like to say,
okay, where's your evidence for that? Illegal immigrants.
Well,
I'm sorry.
They're taking out
They may have taken illegal immigrants out, but again, you haven't convinced me that that in itself, right, is like a good thing. I don't care. I don't care. Grant them legal status. Why not?
Because they are not Americans.
They can be if we grant them legal status or citizenship.
Right, but what if you import all of Mexico? Let's just imagine all of Mexico is in Canada now. I mean, sorry, America. And
okay,
over half of the people, because they have kids like more than triple amount of us, we will all be like actual, actual Americans.
They really be popping out them babies, the Mexicans, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and we will be the They will be the majority.
Are you
Now,
afraid
the
that
whole
they're
culture-
going to replace us, the Anglo-Saxon? Is that what you're so afraid of, my brother?
Yes, well, they are. They
my
are gonna
my my
replace-
Mayo brother. Is that
if
what?
if the
Why are
majority
you
of the
so scared,
country
brother?
is one,
Hmm?
because that's not our culture. Have you seen their culture there? It's disgusting. It's not
My
America.
culture is this. If my culture is this, it can only go up from here. So, like, you haven't convinced me.
Convinced you that ice is good, I guess, right? Yeah. I haven't convinced you. Sorry. Well,
That it or that like even of like the I don't know.
you can't. It'll abolish and destroy our culture if you import a whole nother nation's culture. The
But I
government's
like Mexican
priority.
culture. Have you ever
Move
ever
to Mexico. Move to Mexico.
I like
then. This is
American
America,
culture
is it not?
too, and also I grew up here. I've never lived outside of Ohio. Barely left
Right,
it.
but Ohio will be Mexico, and it will just be Mexico if you
But-
import all of Mexico to Ohio.
But in my house, right? Like, okay, so what? So what? Okay, let's say that Ohio becomes Mexico. Now what? Is my life over? What's different? Does it have that
no.
nice orange tint like from Breaking Bad? Is that what happens? Do I get the
Maybe.
orange, the Mexico sunglasses?
No, it destroys culture. We're trying to maintain our people here, are we not? Like, what makes
What do you
American
mean maintain
American?
our people? Okay, we can maintain them just fine. What are you talking
Well,
about?
what is not if the minority becomes the majority, then the minority. Then whatever the new majority is will become the overall culture. Ohio culture will disappear. It'll just be Mexican
Okay.
culture.
Culture changes
And
over
illegal.
time. Culture changes over time. Did you know that? With the passage of time comes the change of culture. It changes between generations vastly. Okay? I would venture a guess that modern day Mexico is closer to modern day United States than modern day United States is to like 1980s United States. Like life in Mexico would be more similar like to what life is like here than it would be way back in 1980.
Okay,
if I
so
were
what's
here.
your point? We're just identity.
That culture
lists, we're
changes.
just one.
If you were like dropped instantly, like if you were isekai'd into a 1980s disco, you would shit yourself and cry and try to run home. Probably break into somebody else is living there, presumably, or it's just a plot of land that we haven't rooted up yet, right? But the point is, you'd be a completely like a fish out of water. Now, if you were dropped into Mexico, you may have some difficulty, but people would probably understand, oh, this dude's just an American who can't speak Spanish. We can help him out a little bit. But you already know like all the modern technologies and amenities, and the internet has basically made a monoculture of sorts. So like you can hop on the internet and like my point is that like you people always like reference this cultural shift, and I'm just like, that's just what happens though. Culture changes all the time.
Yeah. I just would like to preserve our culture, and also
Why?
I just don't
what,
enjoy.
What are you preserving? What? Give me an
preserving-
example. Like what?
Okay. Let me try
What
to
are you
figure
so
out what I
afraid of
can say
losing?
here. Christianity, morals.
Losing Christianity. Your church will first of all, Mexico has like a greater amount of Christians than the United States does. Did you know that?
No, I actually didn't. But that's not what I'm saying. It's not just.
I'm pretty
Mexico.
sure.
I mean,
I may be talking out my ass there. Feel free to fact check me,
Yeah,
but
I feel like I've probably heard that before. But the cultural differences go further than Christianity. I don't know any off the top of my head right now. I'm gonna think about that for a second. But I'm just saying that like importing an entire. It's not the people of America. The American citizens should have top priority over the illegals.
Okay.
Should they not?
what? That's an entirely different argument. I mean, we can go there if you want.
Well, it's still it's still pro-ICE. I just think that we should be getting rid as much illegals as possible and maintaining all of the real Americans as much as possible so we can maintain our civilized, moral country, which I actually think is becoming more degenerate over time because of these problems that we have. And I actually
Degenerate?
think that, yes.
Or wait, what? How is Mexican culture degenerating American culture? What do you mean by degenerate?
No. I said that our country is becoming more degenerate over time, not necessarily because of that, but that is a big part of it. Because they're just,
Oh.
why do they even want to come here? What's wrong with their country?
Well, okay, so what part?
If Mexico's so amazing, why are all the illegals coming here? Because
what do you mean if Mexico?
can't be,
They can like their culture and not like the socioeconomic circumstances they find themselves in. That happens all the time. What are you talking about?
they are found with the socio-ethnical whatever problems they have. They are found there because of their culture and well-being and who they are and the people.
Okay, so they just have a inferior culture then in your eyes.
Well, I just like my culture more. It's not that I think theirs is
Yeah,
inferior.
what you just described is that Mexico is dog shit, basically, right? Or not even just Mexico, but like, various countries in South America that are very impoverished. They're just dog shit because of like their culture. It was their culture that killed them, right? That's why their country's shit, and that's why a bunch of them are coming here now. It's like a virus. They're trying to bring their culture here and destroy America next, right?
Well, it's not even that their culture is inherently wrong. It's just that my culture is better because I like it more.
You said the socioeconomic circumstances they find themselves in are a direct result, if I heard you correctly, of their culture, right?
Yeah, you're right. You actually caught me there.
Okay.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. So as a result of South American cultures, there's a various amount, okay? A bunch of their countries are shit, and people are now moving here and bringing that culture, right? And then America's next, right? America's going to turn into dog shit. You think they're a virus, right?
Yeah, well, that's why I want to live in America. That's why I like America. If you like Mexico so much, why not move there?
I'm not saying I like Mexico so much. I don't know that much about it. But like I know some stuff about Mexican culture. I learned it in Latin American Spanish class. It's just Spanish class. I don't know why I said Latin American. I learned it in Spanish class, right? About Latin American culture is what I meant. So like from what I've seen of it, it seems fine. They have fiestas and siestas and triestas and
I just think
tacos.
that
It's fine.
Hey man, I gotta go pretty soon, but we can talk for like a couple minutes more here. I gotta go to jiu-jitsu soon. But I
Sure.
would say I think that ICE is good because it removes those who are here illegally, which I think for the most part are people that are criminals in some sense, or people that are just don't have a right to be here because if they did, they should have come here legally.
Okay, criminals versus people who don't have a right to be here. Very different categories. You understand that, right? Because when you say a right to be here, technically, people whose visas expired don't have a right to be here anymore because the government doesn't uphold their right to be here at this present time. Right?
Yeah, if your visa expires, you don't have the right to be here because that's against the rules.
It's just silly. It's silly. Like what rules? I mean, why are the rules there? I don't understand the need for the rules. Just let them in. Like if they're not, most of them are here doing good things. You know that, right? Like most of them are doing a lot of field labor, growing food for you, right?
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry, finish what you're saying. Sorry,
Growing
you cut
food.
out there. Finish what you're saying.
Did I cut out? Am I coming through?
Yeah, you're coming through now. What were you saying? You cut out back there when you were talking about something about food or something.
They're growing food for you, okay? And they're getting not very much to do it. I would like to change that. I would like to make sure that they have good circumstances to work and live in, okay? But if that, like, you know, they're doing the work that Americans, I guarantee you, cushy as we are now, are not going to fill in. Okay, you're it's going to be a hard sell. Like if you just Thanos snapped all of those field workers back to Mexico or wherever they came from, you just had like you completely obliterated your farming workforce. GG. That's not getting replaced anytime soon.
Yeah, okay, so we can keep them here. They can work for us. All the browns work for us. All the white gets the slack back. Communism, right? Anyway, and then
Yeah, that's
they
what I
all
said.
sleep in your house, right? They live in your house?
Yeah, in my basement. I'll feed them well. I'll feed them crackers. Or they like tortilla shells, right? That's what we'll do. That'll
Wait, so
work.
you're gonna let them? You're fine with them staying in your place?
Sure. That's what I'm saying. This is a good line of dialogue. You should follow this more. Keep going. What's next? Do I wash all their feet? Do I
No,
kiss
I'm
their
being
hands?
serious. Well,
Hmm?
you're bringing them into your country. A country is just like in your words, you've said a country is like a mass house, or you said the
I
world should be like a
just
big house.
think they should be allowed to move around the land mass known as the United States at their whim and whimsy, okay? They should just be allowed to do that, just like the rest of us. I can walk outside of my house, drive anywhere that I damn well please, okay? You don't get to claim that any part of the United States is your land and that I can't drive on it, okay? That's just a rule that we made up for that invisible line. That's all. That's all it is. And to pretend otherwise is very silly.
Yeah, but I think they should be able to move around our land legally if they can come here legally.
Then just make it easier. What's the problem? We got somebody else with their hand up. So get it. Yeah, you said you have to leave in a minute anyway. So get your last word in here.
See ya, man. Yeah, see ya.
You done?
See ya.
Okay. Have a good night. That was sudden. I was trying to give them the last word there, but okay, Warmish. I believe you were next. I should
Yeah.
have read.
So I
I
got
should
a
have
I got
read.
a very specific question for you.
I was gonna say I should have read chat first, but it's fine. I'll
Yeah.
read it after. They can deal with it. Okay, what's up?
Yeah. So I agree ICE should be disbanded. That isn't my question. My thing would be after ICE, what would you like what reforms or what would you want to be done with that?
With immigration, I guess. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know the logistics, but the eventual goal would be the like if you want my long term plan, the abolition of borders. I think that we can carve out specific pieces of land and name them. I don't have a problem with that, like we do with states. You know, like I don't think there's a problem with
Hmm.
states. I like with defined borders around them to indicate a landmass. That's fine. But as far as like borders that separate people from being like for any more than a state, I guess, like that I don't like. So that would be the eventual goal. But in the meantime, you know, I get that like there's a lot of conflict going on in countries that aren't our own in very unique ways to those countries. And if they go unchecked, they could bring some of those problems here. I can recognize that. Okay, so sure, check them at the border, make sure that whatever they're here to do isn't nefarious or whatever. And if they check out, then let them in. You know, like call them citizens for all I care. I don't care. Um, just make it so that they're here freely to to do human stuff, because human stuff is generally pretty creative and productive.
Yeah, I
So
would agree. Well, yeah, I agree. Um, the reason I'm asking, right, is the big push is to, like, right now, as far as I've seen, and I fully agree with this, would be to get rid of ICE. Maybe get consumer, what is it? Not consumer. It'd be the border patrol. You get border patrol, and then you get like a couple of other like subdivisions within the DHS, and you like get them to enforce immigration. So that's kind of where I'm like looking at it. So that's kind of why I'm asking, because I agree with, right, ICE being abolished, right, or abolishing said thing. I think that's the
Mhm.
right thing, but it's afterwards where I don't think there's like a clear goal in mind, and that's kind of my only worry here.
sure, I just like I don't find it that much of a concern, because to me it's like saying, well, you know, I hear you about disbanding the Gestapo and all that. I get it, but like, we don't know what comes next. Like, I understand your concern. It's a valid one. I'm not trying to say it's not. I just don't think it's a priority right now, and that's why people aren't really talking about it. Because ICE is like running this show right now, and not in a good way.
I mean, sure, I would understand that. So my issue would be, right, is saying defund or given, okay, using 2020, right, when BLM
Sure.
happened, and I agree with them, right? There was a push to defund the police, right? But within using that slogan had many different perspectives and many different ideas. So that's what I'm trying to hear, like, understand a more concrete position
I
here.
think
Because it
I
feels
think
like it's
a
just right now, it feels like a slogan.
I think a better message. Well, for right now, the abolish ICE slogan is roaring. Like, people are all about it. Even
Oh, yeah, it
Republicans
is
are looking at
boring.
ICE now, and they're like, I
Yeah.
can't associate with that. Like, that's crazy. Um, so right now, abolish ICE would dominate like a primary, like a presidential primary. Like, if they came out and said abolish
Oh,
ICE,
yeah,
I'm
definitely.
voting for that
Oh,
person
definitely.
immediately. Immediately.
Well, me
Like,
too. Me too.
yeah. So, and I think that a lot of people would would agree with me right now. Like, even your average dipshit. Plenty of them still are defending ICE, but it becomes more and more apparent day by day as they kill and kill and kill
State
and
sanctioned killings.
arrest and arrest innocent fucking people from their neighborhoods. Like, it has a cascading effect. It's not just the one person whose life you're affecting. It's everybody in that person's life. And many of those people, most of them probably, are United States citizens. So with every person that you drag in against their will, every other person who knows that person, your life, their life, you just disrupted in a bad way. They don't like that. And even if they at the time like ICE and still agree with ICE and whatever, they're going to look at that one thing and be like, I don't know about that one, chief. And the more that happens, the harder it gets to ignore the reality. ICE needs to be abolished. And right now, I think the time is ripe for that message.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree too. The reason I'm asking, like the main reason I'm pushing this, like I'm pushing as a question,
Mm-hmm.
is there was an immigration bill proposed in 2024 that would have solved, even though I disagree with like the heavy restrictions they would have put on the border itself, that at least would have had more immigration judges and available pathways for citizenship. And it does look like, right, we can look at polling that immigration is a position the Republicans can win on. So that's where I'm like, yeah, I fully agree with that. I agree with getting rid of it. But how do you take a position that is very still strongly right and push it in a direction where not only the left could do very good on it, but solves the issue and makes it better for both groups of people? Not necessarily the right, but in the case of, okay, well, how do you make it to where crossing the border isn't so much of a hamper on the system, but also allow for a pathway of citizenship?
You're asking me that, like, you're asking me how to make it easier
Yeah. Well, no,
for.
no, Well, no, I feel
Sorry.
like that's like the main issue. I feel like that's like the main issue right now.
I just okay. Do you feel like that should be the main issue? Like that's what people should be talking about. Like that's the
I
main thing
think
we need to be concerned about.
I think if you're going to say dismantle ICE, right, you need to have a message behind it. I think defund the police was a very good message. And I think the
But
backing of it. So I think Mom Donnie, right? If you look at how Mom Donnie or even Minneapolis to an extent, with Frey, right? After 2020, he did a pretty good job of looking at reforms within police and then also dismantling a lot of those structures that cause those problems. I'm saying you need to have your policy set up because let's face it, right? Republicans still 2028, 2030 are going to have a lot of seats and you'll have to find a way to solve the issue because if you don't, again, Trump still won a second term. And it's not like the American people are just going to magically say, oh, we'll never allow this again. So that's kind of like the way I'm looking at it.
I hear where you're coming from. I trust that politicians, when they say, I am going to abolish ICE, they will also, like, if a politician is going to say that, they probably already have a game plan mapped out for what they're going to do about immigration. You know what I mean? Like, if they're
Yeah.
already at abolish ICE, they're like, they know that something comes after that. You know, they can't just stop there. So, like, is it possible that somebody who wins does that? Sure. But at least they still abolished ICE. Like, even if after that is chaos, you know, they did what they set out to do. So,
And that's
you
fair.
know, like, and that's what people want. They just want a simple, straightforward abolish ICE. ICE is going to be gone. Period. It's going to be gone. And that's all people need to hear. They don't need to, like, if they want to look into the game plan, that should absolutely be there. I agree with you. It should be there. You know, if somebody, just on the off chance somebody asks, like, okay, you know, you're saying you're going to abolish ICE, what comes after that? They should have an answer for that. I agree. I just don't think that that's like the main line right now. Like that's not the primary concern.
And the other reason I bring this up is the only person that I've seen who has a very good answer on this is AOC. Because
If
she's been on
AOC
the train
runs,
since 2018.
AOC has my vote. Period. Like if she
Oh,
runs,
me too.
it's GG. It would take a lot to turn me away from AOC.
So that's just the way because that's my concern. And with everything that's happened, just happening politically and how volatile politics is,
Yeah.
one flip of the dime and you can't solve an issue.
Oh, sorry, baby.
But they're killing people. So that's like the problem. Also, they should, have Nuremberg trials, but that's a whole other thing.
We'll get there. This never lasts forever. It never has, right?
Yeah, I agree.
It always turns back around. It has to. It's just a matter of how long it takes.
But that was it.
All righty. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
Okay. Hold on. Let me delete that last recording before I forget. Okay. And let me read chat real quick. We forgot history. Our forefathers would be ashamed. Immigration enforcement itself as a concept is messed up. It simply literally doesn't matter. Checkpoints should only exist to assist, not stop. I agree with that. Jiu-jitsu, by why bother with Asian culture? My God, Jazz Dog. Okay. All right, Lisa. Lisa, welcome in.
你好，
How you doing?
大家好. Hi, I'm doing alright. How are you doing tonight? Or
I'm doing
today,
okay.
or whatever time it is.
I'm a little tired, but it's all good.
Yeah. Would you allow me to show a little game while we talk a little bit? I feel like it's good for
We can
concentration.
try. I'm not sure if like Discord has issues on my computer for some reason once I like start to watch somebody stream at the same time that I'm streaming to Twitch and YouTube. So I can try, but I'm not sure that it'll work.
Oh, maybe it's better if we don't then. I think that's
Okay.
better if we don't.
Okay. I mean, you can still
So,
play it. It just won't be streaming.
yeah. So basically the thing is, I don't think abolish the ICE is the way. I think it is bad, of course. The ICE is bad as heck. It's been doing a lot of bad things, killing people, arresting people. I've seen many of those things. Before I started doing all that stuff, I thought, oh, Trump isn't a fascist. He's just a populist. But now I'm kind of starting to question it. And like,
hmm
I wanted to propose something. Instead of us abolishing ICE, I think it's better if we actually just reform it, because abolishing it won't do much, you know. I mean, you can abolish it and create something afterwards, but I think we it's better to reform something that's already there, because as it has happened many times in history, whenever people try to abolish something to create another one, it's always ended badly,
Okay.
in my
What do
view, of
we
course.
replace a tumor with when we remove a tumor from the body? What do we replace it with?
No, but ice is not a tumor.
Oh, yes, it
It's
is. Yes,
basically
it is.
like,
It is absolutely a tumor.
does
That's what I'm arguing.
does it does it spread all the way
Yes.
through the US until it destroys it?
Yes, it sure does. More and more people are joining. We're fighting back against it. Like with the protests, they're getting very disincentivized, but it spreads just like a tumor does unless you fight back against it. Sure. It's fascism.
I see. You see, I see. No, that's just a joke. Now, what I think
The
is
idea
like,
here isn't to break it down and replace it with something else. That's my point. Just get rid of it.
oh, so you don't want to replace it with something else?
Yeah, just break it. Icebreakers, right? Just break the ice.
Yeah, but
Smash
like,
it.
what do you plan to do with it afterwards? To do with immigration afterwards?
Do with immigration? Well, we have
Yeah,
the
like,
DHS
because
still, first of all, which we could argue whether that should even exist. I'd need to do my research on that. But to my knowledge, it's just a reactionary organization that formed after 9/11. I could be wrong about that, but uh, I'd have to look into that. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is we have DHS. We have other structures set up. Like not everybody who works in immigration works for ICE. They work for some other institution that's set up in our government. So like what's wrong
yeah,
with having those people handle it? We already have them. Just get more of
there's
them.
nothing wrong with it. I just feel like something already established, it's way easier to control than creating something out of the ground up.
What you're asking to do is to take ICE and make them like not ICE. Like you're
Yeah.
basically like just taking the same name, slapping the sticker on a different organization entirely with different people with different sets of goals and calling it ICE.
Not really, because I would say that we would also be kicking out illegal immigrants, but only illegal immigrants who are like pretty much just, I would say, actually damaging to American society.
Okay,
What that means is like criminals and all that stuff.
right. But what do we do with people like that who are born here? Like, what do we do in that case?
We let them stay. We send them to prison if they do something
Yes,
wrong.
we send them to prison. So we have systems in place that take care of these problems.
Mm. Yes.
Okay. So if somebody's here from Mexico and they're living here now, and they commit a crime here, we send them to jail here because here is where they live now. Right? That makes sense to me.
But wouldn't and the thing is, the more prisoners you have, the more the government's gonna have to spend on prisons. That's the thing. Like you're gonna have to take more taxpayer dollars and actually put them into uh, keeping people in prisons.
But like, okay, so then where does that end though? Because then we shouldn't let anybody in because everybody's equally likely to end up committing a crime here. We should let nobody in, not even tourists. Nobody. Tourists commit crime all the time.
Then you get North Korea.
Huh?
Then you get North Korea if you do that.
Yeah, you do, don't you? This is the problem with your argument. You turn into North Korea.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not about like it's about like illegal immigrants who come in the US illegally. They are here without a visa, they don't have records, and they possibly want to commit a crime, but many of them don't want to commit a crime, you know. But I'm talking about drug
By
lords
most
who come into the US without visas to only just do stuff like drug dealing,
by most
only so they cannot get
standards,
detected.
not standards, by most records that we have right now, the preliminary results, it's not like set in stone, but all of the results we have right now show that if you are an undocumented migrant, you are the least likely out of citizens, which is the top, all right, they're the most likely, and documented migrants, which are in the middle, okay? Undocumented migrants are the least likely of those three groups to commit a violent offense. Did you know that?
Yes, I do, but that's
Okay.
not the point. The point is that many people can just abuse it, like drug lords, to
Okay,
enter the USA without being detected, so they cannot be
but
deported easily.
a crime of that caliber is just as likely to be committed by it's not just as likely, less likely to be committed by somebody who is not from the United States. Okay?
Yes, of course.
So by bringing in more immigrants, we are lowering the crime rate, right? That's how averages
What do
work.
you mean?
Because the data that we have shows that if you are a legal immigrant or an illegal immigrant, an undocumented immigrant, you are less likely to commit violent offenses than a person who is a citizen. So more immigrants by that, just by raw numbers, right? Depends where you get them from, depends who they are, sure. But the raw numbers state more immigrants is good. It lowers crime.
Uh, but the thing is, the easier you let people come in and the less rigid laws you have when they come into the country, the more you're going to have crimes caused by illegal immigrants. The reason why illegal immigrants don't commit as much crimes as they could is because they are afraid of being deported, because the U.S. system of that is really strict. But if
Yeah,
we soften that a lot,
but that demonstrates they have the capacity to not be violent, right? Like if the consequences are severe enough, like yeah, they won't be violent, right?
uh, what do you mean?
You just said the reason they are less likely to commit crimes is because they don't want to get sent back, right?
Wait a second, I will have to do something here real quick, but I
Okay.
will be right back. Is
Okay.
it okay? I think it's better for her to bring someone else up, and I will wait here.
Uh okay. I'll take a brief siesta. Uh if you don't come back up, then have a good night. If you do, just raise your hand again, okay? Okay. Well, that ended a bit abruptly. You also know what else they would fear? The police. Yeah, exactly. Like, all you're saying is they have the capacity to not commit crimes. Like, okay, fine. Then if that's what it takes. I don't know if I agree with this, but by that logic, if it takes that level of punishment to keep them from committing those crimes, then institute it. Like something of the same caliber, but not deportation, and only if they commit the crime, right? Like the actual crime, not the coming here illegally part, like the violent crime. Nova, I will let you up in just a minute. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
I'm feeling kind of stuck. Call me Knuckles. Give me a box.
They're eating the dog. They're eating the dog. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back.
Thank you, President Xi. Thank you, President Xi. Thank you, President Xi. Thank you, exclamation point, for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point.
When we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people.
And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. They're eating the dog. They're eating the dog. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets. They're eating
President Xi.
They're eating
President Xi.
They're eating
President Xi.
They're eating
Exclamation point.
the dog, 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 the cats, 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 the dog, 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 the cats, 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 the dog.
Hi, can I be heard? Okay.
Sorry, I was muted on the stream. My bad. I am back from the bathroom. Welcome in. Debate me. Go.
Oh, okay. So you were talking about getting rid of ICE, and then Warmish was talking about the after plan. Question: do you think that in any time during those phases will the government try to ever bring back it through force?
Bring back what?
If ICE is abolished by
Right.
the people, but the government is like, no, we need this, so we're gonna try to secretly try to keep putting in small implements into it. It's
Well,
like,
that's what they're
what do you
doing
do
now.
then?
Well, we're
Oh,
finding that out as we speak. We're finding that out.
all right. And also, about the DHS, I've been hearing from some people on Blue Sky that yes, it should be abolished.
Yeah.
Because of what they're doing. I want to ask you with an ice question. Do you think that Tim Walz is doing a good job or is being cowardly with Minnesota?
Very cowardly. I think he could be doing a
How?
worse job, but that's not a very high bar.
What? Why would you say that he's doing a bad job?
Because he keeps gesturing at, we're going to keep the peace. I promise, Mr. Trump, we're going to keep, but to finger wag at you, sir, to finger wag at you, but we're going to keep it peaceful. Like, shut the fuck up. Okay? If the people don't keep it peaceful, it must be pretty fucking serious, isn't it? Stop appealing to their sense of peace. Stop that shit.
So,
Tell Trump to get the fuck out.
just like how that one mayor is doing?
I don't know which mayor you speak of, but if their messaging is
I thought
ice out,
I thought
yes.
yeah, because I thought it was a Minnesota mayor or was a police chief that said get the fuck out of ICE. I mean, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
But I'm just trying to understand this of how like it does it just start with ICE? What is there a system that you would go through that is like ICE is the first thing to go, then what should be next?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked into
Okay.
it. So, I mean, like I said earlier, DHS maybe, but I haven't looked into that enough. So I don't
Okay,
know.
I would
Like maybe DHS is necessary. I don't know.
I would say that I forget if I ever talked to you about this, but I've had this idea before. The idea of closed borders until we have until this place is safer for everyone.
But what do you mean? Like letting people in is not making it less safe. More people is not less safe. It's typically more safe. More people
No, what I
equals more
mean.
safe.
No, what I mean is that the policies that we have right now are basically killing off anything that we have because I want immigration. I want these people here. But the problem is that the policies that we have right now are hurting everyone who's trying to come in here and who are living here. So I
They
had this
need to
idea of
they need to make that calculation themselves. That's not for us to decide. We don't know what their circumstances are. We can't possibly make that judgment call for them. They think it's bad enough to drag their babies across the Rio Grande with no idea what's on the other side. So please don't. I'm not trying to be mean, okay? But I'm going to
no,
be a
I
little
understand.
I'm going to be a little bullish here and say don't feed me that. Okay? Don't feed me that bullshit. Like we don't get to make that call for them.
Okay, I understand that. I just wanted to it's like because the thing at the end of the day, I just want people to come here. It's like I don't understand these type of people that want less immigration or stuff like that, and it's just that I don't get why people are supporting what happened to Renee and the what's his name that the guy who just got shot.
Alex
That
Preddy.
guy, Alex Petty. Yeah, it's just that I don't understand. It's like trying to understand why are they why are they misconstruing the facts and just letting the Secretary of Defense of War or whatever, was it Pam Bondi or someone else saying that this is what actually happened? Why are they just letting that all happen while we know everything is truly happening? It's just confusing.
Yeah. I don't. Sorry, I don't know how to respond to that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not
I
trying to gotcha or anything. I'm not.
okay. So you want to like completely, just so I'm clear, you want to completely like shut down the borders, like not let anybody in until we fix what exactly? Like conditions
Until
for.
until until the citizens can know that they're going to be safer here than where they are right now. Because the thing is, because ICE
Okay,
is making that reality,
we
bad and stuff like that. Because
we
I don't want to.
we already walked this line. Do you agree or not agree that that judgment call is up to them, not us?
It's up to them. Yes.
Okay, well then, let them in. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I
Close the
want to let.
borders. Let them make that decision.
Okay. So then,
Also, like, who is making the conditions bad? The same government saying that we need to close the borders, right? Because the conditions for them are bad.
yeah, I do agree with that. It's just that it's not because I fully agree with this idea. It's just that it's just an idea that I had on a whim, like a
Okay.
while ago, and I've been wanting it to be challenged because I don't want to feel like I'm acting like some rightoid.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come off harshly. It's a silly idea in my head just off the get go. Because I guess the main point of why I think that is dumb and like not a good idea is because, once again, we don't get to, like, okay, for two reasons. One, we don't get to make that judgment call for those people. If they think that it is safer here and better here for them than it is there, they already did that math in their head. And sometimes they're wrong, sure, and in that case they self-deport, right? They would self-deport. The problem would solve itself. So there's no reason to
Yeah,
make it illegal. The problem would solve
yeah,
itself. And
yeah.
then the second reason, though, is once again the same government that would be doing the closing of the borders are the ones who made these conditions so bad in the first place. So there's no reason to believe they'll get any better. We've just shut off people's access to the country, and now the people who were from those countries are suffering indefinitely.
Then I would like to ask: do you think America right now is a safe place?
Um, there's never really been a safe place in history. Um,
Oh,
I guess it's safer than most places on like a whole, I think. But as far as like, no, I think that other like similarly, I guess if you want to use a measuring stick, similarly wealthy nations to us, um, are doing better in terms of safety, from what I've seen.
okay.
So there are worse places, but there are certainly better places.
All right, and I did remember that someone brought up welfare when it came to immigration. Why is it that they always talk about welfare first?
Because Americans as a whole are very meritocratic. They want to make sure that people are putting in the work to get the things that they get. And I understand where they're coming from, and I have a little bit of that in me as well. I think that people should work for what they want. Okay? You got to put in the grit sometimes. That's just what it takes. But that's not what, like, first of all, undocumented migrants, like I've heard this argument recently. The best argument I've heard is that the anchor babies of the undocumented migrants are getting assistance, right? And to that I say, what are we going to do with those kids then, if not, like, they're American citizens. So like, what are we going to do with them then, if not like provide for them? Kick them out?
Uh,
Like, if you kick out their parents, you're basically kicking them out, right?
I'm guessing this is not me accusing anyone, but my subtle thinking is because they think of that the big word that you use is that they kind of maybe want children to work. That's my theory, is that if these kids don't have a parent, then they would become homeless. But unless they work for America, they will no longer be quote unquote homeless. That's my theory.
That's not how it works here. If they break up the parents, best case for that kid is foster care. I mean, miracle if they're adopted, but because like a well-to-do family who looks at those circumstances would be like, this is completely ridiculous. Like these kids' parents still want them. Like, so they just get shuffled around the foster system at best. At worst, they just get thrown in a cage. You know, that's been known to happen.
And that's really bad. And I would agree that is really bad of being thrown in a cage. And I guess there was more that I want to talk about, but it's not about ICE. So I can just leave it here because there's other ideas that I wanted to talk about, but it's not ICE related.
Yeah, I appreciate
but,
you. Yeah.
I just wanted a better understanding because sometimes it's slow for me to process things. So.
No, you're all good. I appreciate
Thank you very much.
Yep. Take care. All right. Lisa, did you want to just wrap up? Hold on one second. I gotta end the recording. Lisa, did you just want to wrap up, or did you want to come up for like a whole other discussion? Because if it's the latter, I'm gonna go with White Crow. Okay. All right. Lisa, want to wrap up the previous discussion?
Yes. Where were we previously? We were like at like.
You got me.
What do you mean?
I remember we talked about ice being like a tumor, if that helps. Like, I just don't think anything should come in and replace it. It just needs to go.
I see. Why do you think we don't need anything to monitor immigration whatsoever?
Why don't we need what?
In the sense that anything to monitor like things such as monitors who gets out and who stays.
Who gets out and who stays? Like who we kick out of the country?
Yeah.
We have that without ICE. We have an enforcement agency for that. Like we have what is it called? The DHS, right? Department of Homeland Security. They do that, right? Customs and Immigration. Like we already have, like, people deal with immigration from other factions who are not part of ICE. We have other people for that already. We could use more of them, sure. But we have other structures in place. DHS and Border Patrol, yeah.
I see what you mean. But like the thing is, so you don't advocate for like finishing off what like kicking out people for the country who deserve it.
Who deserve it? Like,
right.
You're basically, if they deserve it, then and I believe they deserve it, then of course I think they should be kicked out. Why do they deserve it?
Like they commit crimes such as such as murder, robbery, and all that stuff. If they commit those crimes.
Okay, so anybody who commits murder or robbery, we deport them, right?
No,
they
anyone who did it illegally. Yeah, illegally.
It's always illegal. It's a crime. Unless we make it not a crime. What do you mean?
What I mean is that like
Oh, apparently I'm being told I'm very quiet. Hold on.
who's saying that?
Crank this bad boy up. Dubsy's gonna have to fix that in post. Oh well. Sorry about that, folks.
Okay, what I was saying is that like we there the problem with prisons and all that stuff is that prisons are not able to do things without government assistance. So basically, we need prisons to have less criminals so we can have we can take care of it.
We need. Did you say we need prisons to have fewer criminals? Is that what you said?
Yeah. And also because like having wait a second. Are you saying that undocumented visa immigrants should have their visa revoked and pardoned for a violent crime? Because I don't disagree. Yeah, sure. Because you have somewhere to take them to. It's not like something such as, oh, we are like sorry if I'm too stubborn here. I'm kinda trying to think. But the thing is that like we need to kick immigrants who commit crimes here, violent crimes and all that stuff, specifically out of the country. Because if we make it easier for immigrants to come here, more immigrants are going to commit more crimes because they're not going to fear being deported. They're not going to feel like they
Okay.
aren't, you know?
Okay. But all you're saying is keep a target trained on them at all times. That's like you're saying that's why they don't commit as many crimes is because they're scared of being deported, right?
Yeah.
So don't then like have that reason. Did OBS disconnect? Okay, it says they're reconnected. Like if that's the reason they're not committing crimes, I don't like that. Like we can make it like they're not animals, right? Like if they're not
Yeah, of course
committing
they
those
aren't.
crimes because they don't want to be deported, then clearly they don't want to commit them that badly, right? They're just like probably just well-to-do people here, right?
Yeah.
You know, like let's really think about this logistically. If they're here to do crime, if they're more likely to do crime, right?
No, I'm not
Regardless
saying
of
they're
like the
more likely to do
consequences.
crime.
What am I trying to say here? The people who are coming here to make an honest living and help their family back home. That's why people are coming here.
Yes, of course, many
And
people are
escape
coming here
dire
because of that.
circumstances.
I'm
They're not
not
here to
saying
cause
most
trouble.
immigrants. Yeah.
Right. So then like we should assume that of them until they prove otherwise.
What do you mean?
Just assume they're well-to-do folks and run a quick background check if you want and let them in, right? And if they commit a crime while they are here and they live back in their home country, then it's just up to, you know, like the between the countries, I guess. I don't know what the policy there is. Like I guess if you commit a crime in a certain state, you get tried in that state. So if an immigrant commits a crime in Ohio, they're going to get tried by the Ohio court of law, right? Like and
Yeah.
you know, prosecuted in such a fashion because that's where they currently reside. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just don't understand
But
the need for ICE then. It's an extra, like, it's just an extra layer. I don't, like, it's needless. They've done nothing good. Nothing good. So if you want to, like, take the label and slap it on a different organization entirely, fine. But at that point, it's not ICE. It's just ICE, you know, TM.
it's just fire, right?
Yeah.
But the thing, let's say we have ice and we have fire. Fire will be a reformed ice because like they're not completely opposite as the name suggests. But like the thing is, many people in ice are not experienced to do anything, not at all, because the government really wants to get that populistic sentiment to the people. So yeah, you know.
I'm so sorry. Give me just a second. I'm trying to fix my audio. Sorry,
All right.
guys. Let me do. I'm just going to turn the speaker volume down, and then you guys can turn up your volume on your end if you need to. Okay, this should be better. All right. Refresh your tab if you're having audio
Okay,
issues. Oh.
Let me stop playing this game real quick because it's disconcentrating me.
Okay. Let's wrap up because you said you came up here to wrap up, and I got to move
Yeah.
on to White Crow.
So the thing is, one thing that I say is that like ICE is not inherently bad. It's just bad because of the Trump administration. Because when was ICE created in the first place? Can I go back to it?
I think 2001. Is that correct?
Let me check that.
I'm gonna try it there. Okay.
2003. 2003.
Okay. And
in 2003, they worked better than they work now because nowadays Trump's just transforming into something else. It's not because the organization itself was always bad, in my opinion, of course.
I just don't get
You
what they
see,
do
I
that,
feel like
that regular law enforcement can't do. I don't get it.
they're an extra thing, like for people who are like
Mm-hmm.
for like they're just an extra step so we can like focus on the immigrants and not because regular law enforcement is gonna just focus on U.S. citizens and uh, people who are here, like who are born here as just citizens and have got and were able to get citizenship and all that stuff. You know, I'm not saying that it should. Let me close this real quick. I'm not saying it's like because because like if we allow many immigrants in and we go really soft with them, many of them are gonna come here only to commit crime. But if we go harsh, many people who want to come here because it's a good place.
Okay. They're just, I don't see the data that they're going to commit crime on a wider, broader scale than anybody else. I haven't seen that. So
No, I'm not saying they will. I'm saying that like
Okay.
many people. Maybe
Okay.
we should like. Actually, maybe we should like imprison them in regular prisons, despite the fact that it wastes more tax dollars. I'm not saying that like mockingly. I'm just saying that seriously because like if we actually show there is consequences for their actions, they are rather than just getting deported, they are not gonna come to the US anymore, not doing the shit, you know. And the people who are when we want to come here illegally, will still want to come here illegally because they are usually like drug lords and all that stuff because they are illegals. They want to be illegal because they don't want to be detected, so they can sell drugs in the U.S. You know. And I think I'm starting to get what you're saying.
Okay. Anything else you want to add before I move on to the next caller? I'm sorry, that was a lot.
Don't worry. Nah, thanks. 再见, 再见.
Okay, thanks for the discussion. Take care. Sorry, I'm starting to lose focus a little bit. Okay, we got White Crow 420. Let's do this thing.
Hello.
Hello,
So,
welcome in.
like, the big thing is, so you were talking to Lisa, right? And you listed some organizations that could do ICE's job or do ICE's job, but I don't think that's true.
What is ICE's job? What's their
either
job?
So ICE is Immigration Customs Enforcement. They replaced the, what was it called? The INS, which was a Department of Justice branch before that. And so basically they're just a reskin of the other thing. I'm not sure what the nuances are, right? Borders and customs control is largely at the border. DHS uses ICE, and the other one you mentioned is also just at the border. Most are just turnaways, right? Border security. So there isn't exactly a way for the federal government to do what it's doing right now without a body like ICE. What about ICE in particular is bad?
What is the federal government doing right now?
They're doing mass deportations of supposed illegal immigrants. Whether or not you believe that is inconsequential to the hypothetical role of ICE.
Okay, so they're taking people out of the country, and why should I think that that's good?
I don't think it's a good thing. I was just asking you, what about ICE in and of itself is bad?
Because they're taking people out of the country that have done nothing wrong.
Do you think if we had a different organization called something different, Trump wouldn't use them to do this?
Okay, then that's missing the point. The point of abolishing ICE isn't, again, I must stress, not to replace it, not to put ICE to Electric Boogaloo, just get rid of it. Regardless of whether Trump does it or not.
Okay. So, but it sounded like during Lisa's conversation, you'd be okay with a reskin. That's why I asked that. Okay. So, we can talk about general immigration policy then. Because then so, who should get into the country?
Who should get into? I mean, generally speaking.
Yeah. Like give me like a general idea of
I've said before, like in previous discussions tonight, like my eventual goal, long term, is basically all the borders are like state borders. I just think that would be the most useful. I don't see why not. But we got to take time to get there because there are, unfortunately, dangerous circumstances in other countries that might lead to bad actors from their coming here, and I can understand that, sure. So have some regulatory processes in place. Make sure that the people who are being let in are just normal, well-to-do folks, and that's it. There's nothing more to it.
So something like the Elizabeth Warren board bill? Something like the Elizabeth Warren border bill?
I mean, if it was Elizabeth Warren's bill, probably, but I don't agree with her on everything. I don't think.
Okay, but I generally agree with that. So basically, she argued that we should stop attempting to, on a large scale, corral people out of the country for any other reason other than them carrying contraband or them being criminals. So you lower the standards, and then you put all that money into trying to keep what you don't want in the country. So much more translucent borders. Is that true? Do you agree with that?
Keep what you don't want in the... Wait, hold on. You're saying we...
Yeah, you don't want contraband, you don't want criminals, right? You don't want gangsters going through your borders. You don't want drugs coming through your borders.
Well, generally speaking, no. I would prefer the people coming here are well-to-do folks.
Yeah, so basically you use the money we use. So you use the money you use right now to get rid of that.
To get rid of the people who enforce that? They're not just enforcing
that.
To
get rid of the drugs and the stuff. You'd use the
Huh?
money that we use for border enforcement just to focus on criminals and contraband. That was the proposal.
Oh, I'm sorry. I understand. I mean, I guess that'd be a start. I just, like, I don't see what good ICE has done. I don't. So if you want to do that and call it ICE, that's fine, but that's not what ICE is currently doing.
No, I thought we were talking about immigration in general. Because the ICE thing is, I don't agree with what ICE is doing right now, but I don't disagree with the idea of ICE, like an ICE type of thing that would do something similar, like deporting people deep into the country that don't belong. I don't
Okay,
see
but
much
who
of
are
an
you-
issue with that.
But who are you saying does not belong and why? That's my question.
Well, it depends on what the laws are, right? And currently the law is you have to be approved for residential. A lot of these would have to get approved for asylum to be allowed to stay, right? And if they don't get approved for asylum, they should be deported, right? According to the current law, right? So you would have them deport these types of people. You also have people like deported on like overstaying visas, but I don't necessarily agree with that.
Well, yeah, but if they're already living here and they've established a life here and then they commit a crime here, why would we not treat them as though they live here? Because they do.
Depends what the crime is, right?
No, I have never heard of a crime that makes where you live different from where it is now. Not by necessity.
revoke
I guess that
immigration
happens as a
status.
side effect
I
of
don't
some
know.
crimes. But like
Like if
that
there was
in
like a
itself is not a
policy of, like,
crime.
if there was a policy of like revoking the green cards of people who commit rapes or something like that, I don't think I'd see much of an issue. I think it'd be a bit wasteful, but I don't see an issue with like deporting rapists.
Yeah,
for
but
example.
like we could, but I would just as easily say, just toss them in the slammer. Just take them out of the general population. Like as long as they're behind bars, that's the point, right?
I'm not like too sold on one the other, but I'm like saying like certain crimes I could see myself not having too much exception to. You could argue that it'd be cheaper to just deport them, especially if you establish the infrastructure is legal. That could be an argument for that. If somebody rapes
Yes.
somebody and it's like a military threat, they're going
but-
away for.
So wait, it'd be cheaper to deport them? Is that what you're saying?
It could be. Yeah.
Okay, let's say that that's true. Then that would be true of every person who commits a crime like that. Right?
Yeah, but citizens have rights.
Okay, so then you want people who are not from here to have fewer rights than people who are from here.
Green
Right?
card holders do have less.
Okay, but they like what? Like what?
They can't vote. That's a big one.
Okay, but they live here.
I'm not against them.
So like I just like see that's one thing where I say they should be allowed to vote. They live here. Right? That's the whole point. Like they're getting taxed without being represented. There's a whole thing about that.
There was a big hullabaloo about that, sure.
Yeah. Right?
But they also bind themselves to that, which is different from what the
yeah,
British did.
They do what with them? They bind themselves
They-
to that?
they-
Is that what
they-
you're saying?
Yeah, they consign themselves to that. They chose to do that when they moved there and didn't get immigration status. They didn't get citizenship.
Okay, so they chose to
Whereas
pay
the
taxes
British-
and not be allowed to vote, right?
They forced you under the. Yes, but I'm
I
saying
don't know
is
the ins and
with
outs.
The analogy breaker is that. I'm saying there's an analogy breaker with that.
Okay, but like, why not just give them citizenship? Why not?
I'm not
They wouldn't
against
say. Do you
mass
think
amnesty.
if we offered right dual citizenship to every person who currently holds a green card, do you think they would say yes? Like the overwhelming majority of them.
Don't probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So why not? 'Cause clearly citizenship's better, right?
That comes with like strings.
Such
There
as
might be big things. For example, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can't like ever get out of our tax thing. U.S. nationals, when they go abroad, they have to get U.S. taxes. There's other thing you could get conscripted if you're a male. But yeah, but like I think the large majority would agree with it.
I mean,
I'm not against mass amnesty. I think a lot of them don't want to stay long term. However, there is an argument for right now, especially, that we might not want more people in the country. The cost of living so high, and we such a backlog of homes, right? And if we're getting millions of people in the country because we've now lowered the border protections, that would see an explosion.
Yeah, but those
housing prices.
people, those people are coming here because they have nowhere else to go most of the time. Anywhere else that they go is too dangerous, too whatever. Did I go the wrong way?
I'm not sure that's true.
Okay, then why are they coming here? Just for shits and giggles?
Well, it depends on who they are, right? There's like buckets of immigrants. Illegal ones? What do you mean?
So shits and giggles.
I prefer undocumented.
Or like with a green card. Like.
No, what I'm saying is, so I prefer the term undocumented because there's two types of people. There's people that are coming for economic benefits and they just cross because they're a migratory worker, and then there's like the 43% of something percent of the estimated total that are asylum seekers, which are treated differently. Right? So undocumented is the category I use. So some people, like if you're from the Northern Triangle, rely on people in America that may not have got here through extra legal means to live. Right? That's a bucket. Economic migrants. Then there's people pushed out because of gang violence or tyrannical governments, and that's your asylum seeker category. And there's some people that are gangsters.
Sure, there's going to be bad actors in every group of people. Sure.
Yeah. So there's about like those three things, and I don't think a large percentage don't have anything to go yet. But if they're a asylum seeker, there's no, and mostly from the Northern Triangle region, there isn't a safe country nearby that isn't full. They can't take anymore in the in places like.
And we can't either.
Chile. I don't think we. I think we can. I think we should.
Okay. Well, then we should let them in, right? And if they choose to live here,
but however,
right, if they're living
the way
here,
the Republicans handle it.
Well, my point is, if they're living here, right? If this is their new home, they should have representation in said home. It's like this. Let's say that like you invite in a new roommate, right? Like your friend had nowhere else to go, and they got to come live with you, right? So let's just say that happens. This person still has certain rights, right? Like if they establish their new residence with you and you agree to share that space now, that person gets rights. Like you don't just get to kick them out on a whim, right?
Yeah. That is how it works in the Constitution. Persons have equal protection under the law.
Right, and they should have some say of what happens in the house, right?
That really depends. It depends on how long the stay is, what they contribute, and how consensual other people in the household agree.
Okay, let's say, right, that like, I don't know, you like to stay up late and laugh really loud at movies, and your roommate's like your new roommate who, you know, decided to move in is like, hey, do you mind like, you know, just being a little more quiet? He has the right to say that and request it, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys could have a level-headed discussion about what to do about that, right? Like if it's really that important for you to sit up late and laugh like that at the expense of the other person living with you, I don't know what I'm trying to get at here. My point is, like, where was I going with this? I'm sorry.
You were basically trying to explain to me, right, why people that are just residents should also be allowed to vote.
but yeah, they live there now, so they should have some say in some things, I assume. You know.
So like local.
And it is much different from
level-
living in a house. I should say that as well. Like it's just like they're asking for unoccupied spaces to live in. So it wasn't the best comparison on my part in the first place. But the point remains is they live in that area. They should have some say over what happens in that area. We don't know how long they're going to be here. They deserve like a good life just like the rest of us.
However, right? Do you think that in the current state, America could take on a mass wave of people? Like if let's say we implemented this sort of unsaturated border and we don't net for these individuals and we just let people become citizens without like very much obstacle, or we just give them voting rights in local areas. How do you think that might do to the native population or like prices? Do you think this might cause like a lot of
more bodies means more work, more labor force, right? Like you can get more done, right?
Yeah, but right now we have more people seeking jobs than there are jobs.
Huh? Why is that?
And then because Trump fucked the economy. Tariffs.
Well, it's because of a lot of things, but at its
core.
Huh?
But tariffs, him backpedaling AI, there's a bunch of factors that have caused a bunch of people to not work at once. So just having more people doesn't necessarily mean you'll put them in jobs.
There's a bunch of factors, but like if you live in such a system, right? Like this is going to go back to capitalism bad, but just bear with me. If you live in such a system where like it's a bad thing that more people come in, like what kind of system have you set up? Like what are you talking about? More people means more manpower. Like the human body is the greatest tool known to man, known to itself. Like we can do anything. Like it's crazy.
Wait. So there's going to be like two ways to like separate this, right? There's going to be the potential of the manpower, and there's going to be applied manpower. Even the best system, you're going to have like turnover when you add like a bunch of people, because you got to find ways to make them useful, find out what their skills are, put them in jobs, stuff like that. You won't just overnight see us make use of a large influx of people, especially if there's like an economic downturn. Right? Like, you still have to integrate these people.
Yes. But like if you just let them be, they would integrate themselves into the community. Like if they're good, well-to-do people, they would just be polite and like whatever work is available, they would take it, presumably. And they would just do their thing as people. They would be productive members of society. Under capitalism, unfortunately.
The system can adjust.
Huh?
I think the system can adjust to them. I don't think it's an insurmountable problem. But I'm saying the immediate. Because what you're doing is you're creating different instances of mass immigration.
Different instances? What do you mean?
Yeah. So like 100,000 here, 200,000 here, right? Different instances of these infusions, and each one needs to be integrated into the system, and then you're gonna have overlaps. So there is utility in controlling the influx of people.
At a certain point, yes, there is. But I just don't think that we've this country's not hit that point. Not even close.
I'm not sure. We have a lot of unutilized area. We still have to deal with a bunch of our economy just transferring over to core or semi-periphery, and we have a bunch of layoffs and the turnover. we might not have a lot of
Well, that's all a
room
problem.
at the immediate
But once again, this goes back to capitalism bad. The only reason we don't have room for people is because of the capitalist system we've set up. Like, if we really put our minds to, and at any point, you know, local and state government, now they need funding sometimes, but like, you know, state and local governments have before set up social systems to combat the woes of capitalism. You know, like they can allocate a certain amount of money, a certain amount of resources toward, you know, whatever influx of people they're dealing with, and integrate them in a productive and appropriate manner.
Well, let's use an example here. So I think there's functional things that aren't necessarily down to like the particular economic leaning we have. Let's say we're trying to integrate people into a rural community, right? Do you agree that there's going to be an upward limit on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you can only fit so many bodies in a space.
Well, it's not even just if anything, the rural would have like more space because there's a bunch of like land that's like used for crops and shit. You just buy that.
Functionally, like there's really not that, like, it's not a limit that we have to worry about anytime soon.
Well, that's
There's
true,
plenty of
but I'm
space
just
here.
trying to see that there is sort of you can get them integrated, but the issue is, right, that there is going to be there's going to be a lag period between that, and then when you introduce more and more people, that creates more and more lag. So there is sort of a soft tap on lag of integration. Let's say like
there's adjustments.
Let's say you have like
there's an
engineering
adjustment
degree.
period. Yes.
Yeah, so there's gonna
There's
be
an
lag
adjustment
that's
period.
and drag that's built up, right? And so there's gonna be a soft cap on how many people you can let in each year. That you can efficiently sort of deal with without sort of causing a backlog.
Okay, but like I said,
I don't think it's like just a capitalism bad thing.
Okay, if there are that many people wanting to come into our fine nation to work, we should be letting them in right now. So I'm just not that worried about hitting some kind of magical upper limit. I'm not. They're here working their asses off, and we benefit from it.
I actually like a lot of the American immigration system right now. I think we have one of the most sophisticated vetting systems in the world. I think we should be doing more to integrate people in society, and that would be an expanded state, right? But like you have places where they don't speak any English, which is like functionally unfunctional, and they sort of get caught in a gap.
What do you mean it's unfunctional? What do you mean?
There's not places. They can't get certain jobs. Some people won't hire them. They get racism. They can't integrate with society because they can't speak with people.
Hold on. I literally live next to a Spanish grocery, they're Latin American owned. They're employees there, whose relatives own the freaking store. None of them speak a lick of English.
I'm talking about upward mobility, like higher end jobs.
Huh?
Higher end jobs. Like I know people.
What do you mean?
I know people that speak English on the. So
no, you're missing my point.
I know people
who did.
I'm not saying they can't work. I'm saying they are limited in the jobs they can get because they do not speak English.
But this is a clear example of people who came here, set up a shop, they saw a need and they filled it. Right? You ever watch Robots?
What about the people
See
that
a need,
are
fill a need. So they what?
What are the ones that are grocers? They aren't making very much money. The ones working in the store.
Huh? The ones that
are working in the store.
What about them?
They aren't making a lot of money.
That wasn't your initial.
For every one of those, you get a 10 of the ones that are stuck in low employment because they can't.
You moved the goalpost.
Wait, I never said they couldn't get jobs, Alex.
You said that they're going to have difficulty getting jobs, and I'm showing you that they can still get jobs. They can still set up
jobs. Yeah.
What do you mean better jobs? They're working at a fucking grocery mart where people get food. That's as important as it gets. What are you talking about?
That don't make a lot of
money.
Better
jobs, my ass. Better jobs.
Wait, you don't think
what if they like working
a better
there?
job than if you were a construction worker? Maybe
Huh?
they like working. I think most people prefer to be able to get like a managerial position or another job or like a white collar job.
Yeah, for more money.
Yes,
That
for more
doesn't
money.
just
And I'm
yeah.
saying
So we're
the
getting
fact
to the
that
crux of the
the
problem
English
here.
is a
That
problem, right,
Hmm?
for these people because you don't have any you have little English classes that are free, and there's a limited amount of teachers, and the ones that don't speak English have less upward mobility.
Okay, none of this is a reason to keep them out. Even granting all of it. They need to calculate that
We should
themselves.
You should have systems in place that are better before we open the floodgates.
No, I just had this argument earlier. They're going to, like, they are also people who can help with that process. As they come in, they can help make it more stable. More people is better. If
Not
only
always,
we will allow them to make it better.
Okay, so we have like Chinatowns that form. Did they just naturally integrate on their own?
Why is it
They
a
were
bad
nudged
thing to
along
have
several social
Chinatowns? Why is it a bad thing to have Chinatowns? What do you mean? I love Chinatowns.
Well, actually, the origin town is pretty fucking bad. Chinatowns are a bad thing.
They're a bad thing?
But it's good
Oh,
for them.
I just thought they were like Chinese
Yeah, like
districts.
generally. No, like Chinatowns are formed because like we used to fuck them up.
Oh, well, that's bad then. I thought they were
so,
just
like, what happens is
pockets of
there's conflict.
Chinese culture. But sorry, my idiocy aside, like, what do you mean? What about Chinatowns? What about them?
So I'm saying how they go and integrate with other societies. It would not other societies, other groups in society, and people become less bigoted to them. That was a deliberate effort. You need things to do that. That's not like an organic process, or is not as good organically.
Somebody in chat, is saying you're wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong
That's
about
not what
Chinatowns.
Chinatown is.
I can.
Hold on. Now we have to verify.
I can. This is
What
I took an
is a
immigration course
Chinatown?
at university. Chinatowns came
It's a
from
common term used
discrimination.
to describe an ethnic enclave of Chinese people located outside of mainland China. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not bad. I'm
me.
saying the origin of Chinatowns is discrimination.
Oh, maybe.
We used to fuck them up. Like people used to go and burn their houses and shit.
Oh, sure, they face discrimination, sure.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
I'm
can be a
saying-
driving.
I'm saying that
Yeah,
they're
that
bad
could.
because
But
it's
that leads to. But that leads to Chinatowns, right? That are just worse off. Like, okay. So if the problem is that they're being discriminated against, and that's why you don't want to let more of them in, you're just
No, I'm saying
making
you need things to help
the problem
combat that.
worse, huh?
I'm saying you need things to help combat that. They're like it'd
We
be
can
work better
get
in the north than the
those.
south.
But we can get those, and the more people from that culture who are here, the better off they are, right? There's power in numbers. So, like, I don't buy this concern
they
for
interact
them.
with people.
I don't buy it.
You don't think we need to have a preparation for max influx of people?
I didn't say
You're
we
just
don't need
gonna
to
come
have a
as you go?
preparation for it. We need to have plans
what I
if
mean.
that many people are coming in and accommodate them and make sure that they have places to stay and basic necessities met. We got to do all that good stuff that humans need. Okay? We got to give a little, and then we're going to get a lot back, as we already have. Okay? In droves. Again, our agricultural economy does not exist without undocumented migrants. It doesn't. Not the ones who are here presently. Okay? A lot of them are undocumented. A lot. So, I just don't buy that, like, they're not going to come over here and make conditions better. If we got rid of them all, it'd be worse. So it just seems like the more of them, the better, in my opinion. For right now.
Right now we're in like a position of scarcity and stuff.
Like resource scarcity? Like if we bring more people in, it's going to be bad?
Housing scarcity. We have like deportation of migrants. But
You're not listening to me.
Really,
They're already here. working. Okay, would it be better or worse if we got rid of them all tomorrow?
But this conversation has evolved into zapping the standards and allowing them just in, right? It wasn't just the people here. That was the original premise. And I'm saying, well, that might not be wise right now until you have institutions in place that are able to deal with that influx. The ones that are here, I think mass amnesty because it's just cheaper than deporting them.
Okay. My point is that, like, whatever we need to do as a government to make the resources necessary to get these people in quickly, they need to do that. That's all I'm trying to get at.
I don't disagree with that.
I want them in quickly. So if it's a matter of we need more resources, fine. But I'm not going to turn my nose up. Like that's part of like what I mean when I say like, yeah, like get them over here. You know, like, yeah, we need regulatory processes in place, sure. But if we need more bodies doing that, then get the bodies from somewhere. You know, if you're not paying them enough, pay them more. People will do it for the right price. That's all part of it. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, you need bodies in place. I think it'd be stabilizing. We just did it right now.
But
mainly just because of how people react.
Okay, but you can do both. Like all you're saying, like you agree with me at the end of the day. I don't understand where the disconnect here is.
I'm a general. Wait, I was just talking about the utility of the thing right now. I generally agree with the Elizabeth Warren bill because I think borders are generally harmful and are bad economics. But I'm saying if we allowed that right now, without these institutions in place, with current sediments, you're going to get a lot of civil unrest. And then you also might have like the thing that Texas did more often. Do you know what they did?
What?
They got pissed that Biden was letting people in, so they took a bunch of people on fucking bus and they just carted like millions of people to fucking New York City.
I know that.
Yeah, that might happen, and that would hurt the ability of places.
But we can't build policy off of the like the whims of bad actors. You know what I mean? Like just because they're gonna push back in illegal ways. Lock them up then. Boot their asses out of government.
No, it's actually completely legal to do this. They do this to homeless people all the time.
Make it illegal then. Like they're the government. They can do whatever. If you're in charge, you know. Trump's proven that. Like, once you are president of the United States, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. Does not matter. Like, judges can't stop you. Huh?
He's more testing the waters.
Testing the waters? He is so deep in the water that, like you can't see his nose anymore. What are you talking about?
No, he's, like, in the pool, right? Like, if he gets caught, it's done. But for now, he's in legal limbo.
What do you mean?
It remains to be seen.
If by limbo you mean above the bar, sure. Like because he's suspended by
he's currently like
strings
the system doesn't have an answer.
Huh?
The system doesn't have an answer. Like impeachment, for example, there's no clear grounds for that. It could be as much as capital murder, or it could be as little as a parking ticket.
Well, sure,
right?
but it's the point is it should be this.
President is untested. The authority and immunity of the president is completely untested, pretty much.
Yeah.
So there's like he has like a bunch of court cases which represent specific like legal arguments for things that he should, and the ultimate argument he's leading up to is that the courts have no jurisdiction over the things he wants to do. That's like the ultimate argument that he settles on in these court cases. But anyway, I don't necessarily with the thing of ICE, I think that it's largely against the police powers. I'm not in favor of the institution as it's being used. I'm not against like the concept of ICE, but other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Nice talking to y'all.
All right, you have a good night. Take care. All right, the audience has Has the audience emptied out, really? Is that all that's left? That's crazy. Great stream. Thank you. I might just end it here. I want to enjoy the rest of my night. I have work in the morning. I got to take off my clinicals today. Because my car was having trouble, and the trouble turned out to just be ice in the wheels. So I stayed home because I thought my car was busted, but it just turned out to be ice, and I just had to get a car wash. I will take that day off, thank you. Unfortunately, I have to pay for it later because now I have to do the last day of clinical that I wasn't originally going to do. It's whatever. Why do to today what you can put off till tomorrow? Anyway. I'm going to get off of Discord here, and then I'm going to say goodbye to my chat, and then I'm going to drop off my audience on somebody else. Y'all have a good night. Okay. And then, who's live? Anthony, what's his face? Ooh. Hold up.
No, yeah.
Let's go. Hold on. I got to do a thing. Anthony Gramuglia is live. Get channel ID. Yes. Channel ID. There you are. Okay. Copy. And paste. Okay. And then I need to, can I raid him on YouTube? Because he's not live on Twitch. I don't think. Maybe he is. Does he have a Twitch channel? I do not think so. Okay, I looked. There is no Twitch channel, just YouTube. Okay, let me go back. Edit. Customization redirect. Anthony Gramuglia. Okay, great. Save. Perfect. Okay. Stream is ending. Thank you all very much for coming in. Love you all. Yeah, all that good stuff. I had fun. Got some segments in. Oh yeah, I gotta start recording. Got some segments in for Dubsy to edit, so that's always good. Take care. See you next time. Stay safe.